Nation of Fitin10, welcome to day 7. We are officially 10% through, and tomorrow we have a meeting. Just a reminder, at 10:30. I put up the meeting information in Slack. I probably should send out an email, so I think I'll do that by the end of today, just to remind you. Meeting tomorrow, 10:30. Shouldn't be more than about 45 minutes or an hour. Again, I want to get to a lot of your concerns, your questions, try to clarify as much as we can. And like I said yesterday, it's just good to regroup and set the wheels a little bit more in motion, right? If they aren't already. Okay, a question about water intake. There is a point in the book where I mentioned to have about 1 liter of water for every 50 pounds of body weight. So if you are, for example, 150 pounds, you're looking at 3 liters of water. 200 pounds, 4 liters of water. Now, when I say this is encompassing all forms of liquid. All right, so that would include things like coffee, which I have always before I work out. Well, I shouldn't say always before I work out, but quite often before I work out, I have a black coffee, which is a very good ergogenic aid, by the way, if it's caffeinated. I should say caffeine is really the ergogenic aid. That is, it boosts your performance. At least temporarily it does. Anyways, not to digress here. So all liquids will qualify towards your water intake, okay? Because this is mainly water. This is 99 point whatever 8% water. So this would include any juices, although I don't really recommend that you drink juices, but juices, teas, etc. Okay. Alcohol is a no-no. This will not include alcohol because you're not having any alcohol in this challenge. Okay, we'll get into that. We'll get into a lot of reasons why this is in the future, but you are to abstain from alcohol. So just another reminder on that. Motility, movement. This makes a big difference. How much you move in the day really makes a big difference. And if you're somebody who has a job where you're on your feet all day, you're probably doing 15,000 steps per day. And if you're somebody who sits at a desk 8 hours per day, you're probably doing maybe a couple thousand steps per day. So there's a big difference there. And typically for every 6,000 steps, you're probably burning, well, depends on the size of the person, of course. But roughly speaking, for every 6,000 steps, you're burning, which would be about an hour of walking in total, you're burning about, probably anywhere from 100 to 200 calories. All right, so you can imagine the difference with somebody who's putting in, say, 15,000 steps per day. Maybe 300 to 600 calories per day added versus somebody who's not. So the reason I'm telling you this is because if you are somebody who's seated most of the day, I want you to get out and walk multiple times per day. Just do it for like 10 minutes. Okay, clear your mind. If you think that you're going to work better by doing hours and hours of straight work, you won't. Okay, chances are you won't. The data shows otherwise. You're better to set short time limits, work as effectively as you can those short time limits, and then move on to something else different. In this case, go for a 10-minute stroll, 15-minute stroll. That's it. Just clear your mind, get some fresh air. As I mentioned yesterday, the weather's still beautiful. It looks like it's going to be beautiful for the next 10 days at least. So get out and walk multiple times a day, especially if you are not doing very much movement at all throughout the day. A couple other reminders here. Weigh your solid food. Weigh all your food that is solid. If it's not liquid, if it basically doesn't have the viscosity of water, okay, or close to, you've got to weigh it out. You got to weigh out everything. All right. There's a big difference between you can't determine the amount of a solid without really weighing it. Okay, you can't do this by volume for obvious reasons, right? The solid is not going to take up the same amount of volume each and every time. It just won't. One other thing here. I have a note here that says reason for real whole food, right? Okay, one reason here's one good reason to eat real whole food. And there's many, many reasons, which I'm going to go through. But one good reason is, oh, I know why I mentioned this, because it's about accuracy of weight of food. It ties into that because real whole food will not, real whole food will not differ in its, however you want to put this, in its macronutrient distribution and density. Meaning 4 ounces of banana will always be 4 ounces of banana and will always have, roughly speaking, 4 ounces of banana, probably 25, 26 grams of carbs. Okay? So another reason for real whole food, I'll actually give you one more reason, but there's many reasons and I'll go through this in the future. I know I always say this about things, but in the future when I do videos specifically on this, another good reason is that if you buy, I think I already mentioned this to you guys, but if you buy prepackaged food, whatever's on the label can differ within the regulatory measures that are put out by our government. Those measures can differ by 20%, up to 20%. All right. So, if you have a product out there that's higher in fat and you want to sell it, you're probably going to, say there's less fat in there, right? Makes more sense. Better chance of selling it. So I'm not saying that people are doing that, but I'm just saying that there is that lack of accuracy there with prepackaged foods. All right. So another reason to eat real whole food. All right. Message of the day. I'm already at 6:42. That's not good. Message of the day. If you talk about it, it's a dream. If you envision it, it's possible. If you schedule it, it becomes more real. Schedule everything in. Schedule in when you're going to make your food for the week. You schedule in when you're going to do your cardio, when you're going to do your weights, when you're going to have family time, when you're going to have me time. Do all of this. Put it in. Give yourself a limited time for each one of those tasks. Be efficient at it, and you'll find that you can get more done in the day rather than giving yourself an endless amount of time to do whatever and then not really committing in your calendar to times to do other things that are of importance. So give yourself less time, put it in your calendar, and just be efficient. You will get more done. Believe me on that. Positive energy, positive vibes. Believe in yourself. For the love of God, give some gratitude, and I'll talk to y'all tomorrow.